Are you living the Delaware Beach lifestyle? You can't live at the beach and do nothing. This up-and-coming year-round area has lots to offer. Find out where to eat, play, and serve. Living the ultimate dream.
Hey guys, welcome to the 302 Lifestyle Beach Podcast. Your host, Dylan Ewing, here in the house. Guys, today we are going to talk about automating your life. Now, you may be thinking that I'm going to be talking about this stuff because I own a business. However, the reason I'm talking about this is because after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we've met, the biggest thing that I see people questioning when they invite us into their house is, and this has changed actually based on the type of people we're attracting now. But about 85%, I would say, of the people that we have been in contact with in the past 9 years, actually, we're just celebrating 9 years, bases their questions on quality and price. Obviously, price being the biggest motivator for people hiring or doing anything in their lives. And so I want to just talk about what this actually means and why this may not be the best choice of decision making. And then at the end, you can kind of make your own decision and go from there. Okay, so automating your home and life so that you can live the best 302 lifestyle. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So what are some things that you can automate? What are some things that we're spending a lot of our time doing? Well, cleaning, cutting the yard, fixing things, working on the car, window cleaning, lawn maintenance, landscaping, roof repair, painting, even shopping for clothes, food, organizing even, power washing, even things like reading, driving, and cooking. These are all things, and I'm sure there's lots more stuff, but sewing, what else we got? Some of the things are like borderline hobbies, you know, but for the most part, if you look at your life and the routines that you get into, by the time you are 35 to 45 years old, you have developed a set of routines and habits. This is all studied in universities and all kinds of stuff. You have developed a set of routines and habits that determine your lifestyle, and they also determine what you do with your time. Now, some famous people like Bill Gates, I think was the most famous one out of all of them. Bill Gates said in an interview that the one thing that he's realized he cannot buy, no matter how much money he has, is time. So what happens a lot of the time actually is we'll meet people and throughout their life, they've now turned 65 or 55 or even 45, or the kids move out of the house, or you may even be 75 or 85. The biggest thing that people are realizing that they wish they had more of and that cannot buy is time. So if that really sets in and you start thinking about what you're spending your time doing. Now, I personally have done this in my own life. I started looking at what I'm spending my time doing, watching TV, listening to the news, doing everything that I do now. I kind of question, is this adding value to my life? Is this something that if I sell, get rid of, or forced to move out of, or just no longer have any desire to use it in my life, or worse yet, if something happens to me, heaven forbid, knock on wood, and inevitably will, if something happens to me, will the people in my life value whatever it is that I'm working on, and or will they even care that I've taken care of this thing my entire life? And a lot of times it comes down to just my ego or pride, or people may say, Dylan, like, you don't understand. I've been doing these things my whole life. I do love doing it. Okay, well, if that's the case, by all means, keep doing whatever it is you value or you like doing. I'm not here to take that away. I just want to question people's time management and what they're doing with their time. And then, so when you reach an age where you have to, all of a sudden your joints hurt, your back hurts, you have any type of health issue, or you may be wanting to travel more. Maybe you're retired. maybe the kids moved out of the house and you're wanting to get out and do things. And now all these things that you've spent your time doing in order to stay in the house or in your life without having to spend money. See how I'm switching it into, I value money so much that I don't want to spend my money. So instead I'm saving money in order to use my time. So you either have two things. You have time and money when you want something done, right? So if I value money more than my time, then I'm going to not spend money in order to do the things that take my time. But what I've been seeing lately, and especially the little older generations, is that they start making a shift from, now I am valuing my time more than my money. And it's not more or less, it really comes down to either I physically can't do it. And I'll see people fight this till the very end when they just cannot even get out of their house anymore. They would continue to do these routines and habits that they believe that they're saving money doing. And a lot of times what happens when people get wealthy is they spend money in order to have all the things in their life done. Now all of a sudden they have all this time and they freak out. They start working again, or they don't know what to do with themselves, because they've never asked this one question: what do I want to do with my time that I value? Okay, so I'm here to challenge you today to start looking at what you're spending your time with, or what you're spending your time doing. And if you don't want to wait until you're like, 90, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but usually it's a lot sooner than this. And in my case, it's pushing 40. I'm starting to look at what I'm spending my time doing. If you start to assess the things in your life, like I said, the car, the roof repairs, painting, even shopping and cooking and all these things, fixing things around the house, cutting the lawn, spraying for pests. What else we got? Cleaning the house. Let's see. What did I miss? Power washing, window cleaning. Fixing the car is a big one for me. I thought that I would save a lot of money trying to fix my own cars. And you can ask anybody that's been around me. In my garage is just full of tools and just extra stuff that I bought for one time I never used again. Or I'd go to change the brakes and I thought I had all the stuff and I didn't. I'd have to go run back and forth to the auto. I started looking up to people in my life that had the lifestyle that I wanted. And when I noticed things that they do, they stopped spending their time, which, if you really think about it, is the most important thing that you have. It's the most expensive thing that you have in your entire life. Think about that. Your time is the most valuable thing that you will ever have in your entire life. So what are you spending your time doing? So, okay, let's dive into this further. I think we got the point here. So 85% of the people that we meet base their question. Okay, so if I am reaching a point where I'm realizing, okay, I don't want to spend my time doing all of these things. On average, 7 hours a day is spent cleaning the house, or not a day, 7 hours a week is spent by the average American cleaning the house. Okay, now that's just one out of 15 things that I mentioned. So if you think about it, your life is full of all these things that you're spending your time doing. And some of you that still have kids or have other people living with you, a lot of your time is spent at the house or interacting with them, or hurrying to get to the next day, or rushing through things that you're doing in order to sustain this routines and habits that you have. So my question to you is, start looking at that stuff and decide what you want to spend your time doing. Okay. Once we arrive at that answer, and it could be anything, and usually it has to go all the way back to when you were a child and the dreams and aspirations that you've had that you didn't let yourself do based on life circumstances. So if we start asking ourselves that questions and we have the answers now, I want to spend my time learning how to play guitar. I want to start drawing again, or I want to read more. I want to start traveling. I want to work remotely. I want I want to try something new, try something different. It could be anything, fill in the blank. Okay. So once you realize that's what you want to do, now you start looking at all these tasks, start writing things down that you're doing in your day. So in your day, your week, your month, sit down for maybe an hour, which a lot of times that's even more difficult than it sounds, but sit down for an hour, or as you're doing things, just start making a list of all the tasks that you're doing that is taking your time up, that aren't going to add any value to your life. In the end, when you look back in your life and you're sitting on your deathbed, heaven forbid, and you look back on your life, or all the things that you filled your life with, are they going to matter? And if they don't matter to you, let's start working on letting these things go. Okay. So let's start at the cleaning, for instance. A lot of people clean, a lot of homeowners I meet, they will hold this on till their deathbed, until they can physically no longer do it anymore. They will keep doing this because they were instilled by their parents to clean your own house. That's what real families do. That's what the wife or husband or whoever, you keep your house clean and you fix things and you fix your own car and you make it happen, right? Well, that's fine. But when you start wanting to do other things in your life, or you finally reach an age where you're able to retire and you don't have time anymore because you're doing all these things, you need to start hiring people. So if we cut through the time of waiting until you can't do it anymore, and now you realize, okay, let's start automating some of these things. So that's what a lot of people do. And they start calling us and they have us come into their house. They look through reviews and they Google cleaners in my area or whatever, right? Lawn care, painters, it could be anything, fill in the blank. Well, we come into the house or we answer the phone, and the first things out of their mouths are usually, because they used to value money more than time, right? So naturally, their body and mind wants to say, how much is this going to cost me? And in your mind, immediately, you're in the judgmental side of your brain, an analytical brain. You're saying, whatever comes out of this man's mouth, if I don't think that's worth it, or I think that I would never pay that because I can do it myself, now all of a sudden you put yourself in a situation where you're going to go after the cheapest price. And what does that mean? Cheapest price means that you're not valuing anyone's time, really. You're not thinking about insurance, workers' compensation, training, background checks, drug testing, quality equipment. You're not valuing taxes and all these different things. I mean, literally, there's a list of 20 things that business owners have to pay for out of each payment. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say 95% of the business owners that I've met that have any type of service company don't know their numbers well enough to be able to say, this is how much it is, and I cannot go any lower than this because it's going to cost me money. How do I know this? Because I've met hundreds of business owners. I'm in a lot of programs and coaching classes and all kinds of stuff. And actually, this was my case several years back. I didn't even know my numbers. I just kind of called around different companies, found out the average cost, and I just went with that. Or I was a little smarter than that, actually. I at least figured out how much it cost my employees to put them in a house, and then, would kind of add enough in to try to think I was making a profit. But if a company really knows their numbers, 30% is taxes alone, then you got your labor, which isn't even labor. You have to add on workers' compensation. You have to add on insurance. You have to add on bonding. You have to add on all these different things. So by the time it's said and done, the company needs to make a profit in order to give you the best quality possible. So immediately, if I'm going off a price, then now I realize that I don't care about any of that stuff. And I don't care about the people that are working either, because I don't care how much they make. I just want the cheapest price for myself because I want to save money, because I value money more than my time. Okay. So I really want to kind of drive this in there, because it hurts my heart seeing people focus on money so much, which is me. I used to do the same thing. I would drive all the way across town for like 30 minutes just to get, save 10 cents on gas. Okay. But when I started shifting my mind to, I value my time more than money, and realizing that my money is actually way less expensive than my time. My time is actually worth hundreds of thousands of dollars an hour for me. That's like, personally, that's how much I value myself. That may not be how much I'm making, but if I'm going to do something that costs my time, you better believe that I'm going to love doing it, or I'm going to appreciate the moment that I'm in, so I can enjoy whatever it is I'm doing. But if I don't like doing something, or I would rather, like, for instance, I'm trying to write a book, I'm trying to do all these things. If I can't spend my time doing that, and I'm stuck in my house cleaning up the house and fixing my cars, which, by the way, I still do these things. So trust me, I get how hard it is to make this shift. So, okay. So immediately we get the questions about price. Okay. So now at this point, okay, I'm just reading through here some notes, make sure I don't miss anything. So yeah. So what can I do if I'm going to hire a contractor, and what kind of questions am I asking then? Because how am I supposed to know that they know their numbers and they're just not ripping me off? Or how do I know that this person hasn't come to my house? I live in a nice neighborhood, and instead of giving me a fair price, they're going to raise my prices because of my house or where I live. Well, that's the thing. So first, you have to start with, what do you want to spend your time doing? Second, you want to start with, what tasks am I doing that I'm spending the most time doing that I could automate or have someone else do it? So at that point, once you start making your list of things, you just start going one by one. And so what I recommend doing is definitely looking on Google. So you're going to Google whatever it is. So in my case, it would be cleaning company, Google cleaning company near me. And you could start with sites like Home Advisor, or just literally Google is your best friend. Just Google how much should an hourly rate, or what should a cost of a cleaner cost, or a landscaper. You can kind of set a base tone for the average. Okay. Now, instead of judging the company based on how much they're charging, though, when they come to your house, or even before they come there, you want to make sure that they provide you with insurance. Okay. Now, this is hugely important. A lot of people will look this over, because insurance, okay, for instance, if something would happen to, let's just say, you have a roofer at your house, and the roofer, he started out on his own, and he's done really good work. He's a quality guy and everyone loves him. And he gets so busy that all of a sudden he has to hire a helper. Well, as a business owner, there's two different ways to pay somebody. You have 1099, which 1099 is cheaper for the business owner up front, because the 1099 is saying that the person that I'm hiring has their own insurance and their own license, so I don't need to pay or cover them for insurance. And so what happens is this business owner, not really knowing the difference themselves, because they're just starting out, or they started on their own, and they think that, okay, the only thing I know really is that if I get a quote for a W-2 or workers' compensation quote for insurance, they're charging like 10%, 15%, 6% on each worker. How much, whatever they make, you have to add on 10%. In our case, 11% on top of whatever wages that they're making, to cover them for workers' compensation insurance. And that means that if that roofer falls off the roof, and let's just say they break their back and they can never walk again, okay? And this is a little drastic, but if you Google this stuff, it happens all the time. That's why workers' compensation rates are so high. So if this would happen, and the business owner themselves don't have a lot of money, or even if they do, and the worker goes to the hospital, it's going to cost like, I don't know, 50 grand or something, or 20 grand, or it could be any number. And the business owner says, I'm sorry, I don't have the money to pay for it. Well, the employer, the hospital, or somebody will require that person to pay it. So at that point, of course, the employee can go after the business owner. But if they hire an attorney, the attorney is actually going to go after the homeowner, because the homeowner should have, or does have, homeowner's insurance, which will cover somebody for hurting themselves on the property. Okay. So now all of a sudden you see that if I don't even ask the question, how do you pay your employees? I don't even know. So that's the number one thing that small business owners will do to save money up front is they'll pay people 1099, especially cleaners, because they don't know the difference, and it's not really their fault. They just don't have a background in business, so they don't really know the difference, and they just choose the cheaper option because them too are going off a price in their life rather than time. Okay, long story short, first of all, you're gonna get a baseline. Then you're gonna go and look at 3 people. You can, of course, base it on reviews and things like that, or neighbors. But you want to start with your questions of how do you pay your employees? Is it W-2 or 1099? If it is 1099, you just want to make sure that the other employee has insurance. So you want to get that information beforehand. A good company, or a company that is not hiding behind anything, will provide the insurance. Sometimes you'll see on trucks insured and bonded, licensed, insured, and bonded. But honestly, a lot of people don't even know what a bond is. So a bond would be a promise to pay if something is stolen, broken, or something happens, that they have a legal binding promise to pay. A lot of times it's notarized, stating that they will pay for something if it breaks or something happens. So that's what a bond is. Insurance is different. Of course, that's insurance covering the company itself under liability insurance. And then you have licensing, which is license to work. But you don't, as you see, you don't see workers' compensation in there anywhere. So even if they say licensed, insured, and bonded, excuse me, that doesn't mean that they pay their employees properly. So that's the number one thing, is to make sure they're paying their employees where they're covered under their insurance. Okay, so then the next thing under that would be bonded. Are they bonded? They don't have to be if you don't care about that, but if you don't have anything worth value. But so those kind of go all hand in hand. You want to make sure you know how they're paying them. The second part of that would be, are they paying taxes? You know, so if a lot of times people want to pay cash or cash only, okay, so of course, everyone that takes cash only isn't going around taxes or anything, but you want to make sure that you're getting everything in writing. You got invoices, you got statements and charges, and in some way, this company is actually tracking what their income is and paying their employees properly. So the second part of that is taxes. If a company is charging you the right amount of price, they're making sure that they're accounting for taxes and workers' compensation and liability insurance. The next part would be, do they have equipment that's properly maintained? So you can see that by looking at trucks or equipment or pictures on Facebook or Google. You want to make sure the company is having enough money in their payment that you're making to cover their equipment and their depreciation of their products and materials. So if you get a company that's just working out of their trunk and they don't have any overhead and they just got some old, 1990 vacuums or trucks or equipment, that's fine. But just keep in mind that they're not charging enough, and that's why you have a cheap price. So you're going to usually get that type of quality. So if somebody's coming into my house, I want to make sure that they have, proper stuff, good equipment. They have enough money to pay for training and so forth. And so that'd be the second part is taxes. Then the next part would be, I think I messed up my order, but the next part would be core values. So this actually should be at the top of the line. You don't want to hire anybody that's just a jerk in general, right? But so other questions would be, does your company do charity work? Does your company, just kind of, you should be able to see the personality coming out on the business themselves. Are they active in the community? Are they doing things to help others? Do they genuinely care about you? Are they answering the phone, communication? So these would all be tied into core values. And you can usually tell that by calling the company. Is somebody answering the phone? Are they calling you back? Are they doing what they say they're going to do? So you see how I went from how much is the price? I'm just calling 3 people to get a cheapest price or the middle price. I'm going to go with that company. To, okay, I want to make sure that they're paying their employees right, they're paying their taxes, and they got some core values. So Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want more videos like this, drop them down below. But if you're looking for questions on what to ask your contractors instead of just going blinded, I want you to go down below. You can click the link and sign up, and I will send you a free printable questions on questions to ask any contractor. And I want you to think about starting to automate your life, guys. You should be enjoying the 302 area. Let's take our focus off of money and start looking at the type of lifestyle we're living. You're going to meet all kinds of cool people and things to do on this channel. We're going to dive into animals, music, everything. And if that's something that's interesting you, a lot of people move here to retire or to escape the city hustle bustle. We came from Vegas, so we wanted to give you guys somewhere to go to where you can see the amazing people that we've met in our lives, the amazing businesses, the amazing hiking trails, natural and free resources that you can go do and see, and give you guys an opportunity to live the 302 lifestyle that we have found to just love. And it starts with looking at what you want to spend your time doing and starting to automate your life so you can go and do the things that you want to do. You can travel, you can go places, go see things, and let go of this grip that we have as a society on money and possessions and material items. Because in the end, we go out with what we came in with, which is nothing. So, and I myself, I'm talking to myself here, guys. So I hope you guys got value out of this. Like I said, I'll put down below the link for you to download a free printable guide on what questions to ask your next contractor. And if you want to know things to automate in your life or your house, just start making a list of all the things you're spending time doing, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal to you, or you've been doing it your whole life, or your parents taught you that you should be doing that. It could be anything, cleaning out your gutters, power washing, whatever it is. And you don't even know what else to do with your time, that you've been doing it for so long that you don't even know what you could be doing. Start taking a peek around this channel, guys, and start looking at the really amazing things to do with your time and your life. Again, guys, I am so thankful and grateful for you guys in my life. And in the meantime, go live the 302 lifestyle.
Wish you could spend more time having fun and less time with chores? Go to 302beachtalk.com to get $20 off a home cleaning. You'll be entered to win a completely free cleaning. Eat, play, serve. Sponsored by That Guy with a Broom.